Have you noticed your priorities shift with age? Things once vital, like a large friend circle, may lose importance. The truth is, you don't actually need friends after 70. This might seem surprising, but upon closer examination, embracing independence and personal well-being proves highly beneficial. This discussion will explore 6 reasons why friendships are less necessary in later life. We'll discover how your mindset, personal freedom, and health can improve by releasing unfulfilling friendships. This isn't about loneliness, it's about living life on your own terms, free from social ties, unnecessary expectations, and obligations. Stay tuned, as letting go of friendship pressure might not only be liberating but could also redefine your later years for the better. Let's begin. First, you no longer need to prove yourself. A major reason you don't need friends after 70 is that you've surpassed the life stage where social validation mattered. Recall your youth. How often did friendships revolve around proving yourself, fitting in, or maintaining appearances? Whether impressing colleagues, sustaining social circles, or ensuring inclusion, there was always implicit pressure to be seen and accepted. But now, that's unnecessary. You've built your legacy, and others' opinions hold less weight. At this age, you understand true fulfillment stems internally, not from external approval. There's no longer a need to pursue friendships for status, reputation, or social standing. You are who you are, needing no one's validation. Many younger people constantly worry about perception, whether they are liked, admired, or respected. But by your later years, you realize none of that defines your worth. You define your own value, needing no group reinforcement. Consider Harold, in his early 70s, who spent life climbing the corporate ladder. He was always surrounded by people, colleagues, acquaintances, so-called friends, but most relationships were based on convenience, not genuine connection. Upon retirement, those friendships faded. Initially, he felt compelled to reconnect. Then he realized, why exert effort on work-based friendships? Why pursue relationships that were never truly meaningful? Instead of clinging to habitual friendships, Harold shifted focus inward. He devoted more time to personal hobbies, rediscovered old interests, and crucially, stopped caring about impressing others. He found that without the pressure of maintaining friendships, he felt freer. No more forced small talk, social obligations, or worrying about others' approval. He simply lived for himself. For the first time in long, that felt good. That's the key. When external validation ceases, you realize how much energy was wasted on unvaluable friendships. You no longer need to prove yourself, nor meet others' expectations. The only person to answer to is yourself. Second, peace becomes more valuable than socializing. As you age, something shifts. Peace feels far more valuable than socializing. In youth, being with people might have felt necessary. The noise, gatherings, conversations, all seemed part of a full life. But with time, you appreciate quiet more. Not just any quiet, but the kind that brings true ease, free from drama, obligations, and social fatigue. Many friendships, even good ones, carry a certain responsibility. There are calls to return, invitations to accept, and unspoken contact expectations. Friendships aren't inherently bad. It's just that past a certain point, they can feel like more effort than they're worth. The truth is, you don't have to spend time keeping up with others. You needn't feel obligated to be available just because someone expects it. You've reached a life stage where your time is your own to decide how to spend. Take Margaret, 74. She once had a large circle of friends, with lunches, group calls, and holiday gatherings filling her calendar. But over years, she noticed many social interactions drained rather than fulfilled her. Conversations became repetitive, the same stories retold. Some friends only called to complain. Others seemed more interested in gossip than deep discussions. Companionship's joy had slowly become a routine she no longer enjoyed. One day, Margaret chose to step back. She stopped feeling guilty for declining invitations she wasn't excited about. She released the pressure to immediately respond to every call or text. Instead, she embraced quiet. She found time previously spent managing friendships was now hers. She took longer walks, spent time in nature, read long intended books. Most importantly, she realized solitude wasn't lonely, it was peaceful. That's the beauty of this life stage. You're no longer obligated to fill days with constant activity or conversation just to feel connected. You get to enjoy your own company without needing constant external validation. You choose peace over pressure, calm over chaos. So, if you've ever felt guilty for pulling back from social obligations, remember this: you're not withdrawing from life. You're embracing a new fulfillment, one that comes from within and relies on no one else. And that peace only improves with age. If these insights remain valuable, please comment number 2 to confirm your presence. And if unsubscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the bell to receive notifications for future videos. Moving on, point 3. Fewer friendships lead to fewer disappointments. A difficult life lesson is realizing not every friend is truly supportive. Over years, you've likely seen it. Once close people drift away, friends become distant when needed. Most were one-sided relationships. By 70, you understand fewer friendships mean not just fewer social obligations, but also fewer disappointments. Friendships, however strong, carry expectations to check in, be available, offer support. What happens when these aren't met? Disappointment. You call, they don't return it. You make effort, they don't reciprocate. You find yourself giving more than you receive. At this life stage, do you truly need such stress? The answer is no. Consider William, 78. He witnessed friendships come and go. Some ended naturally, others faded as he realized he always initiated effort. People he'd known decades suddenly became too busy, distracted, or uninterested for real connection. Initially, it hurt. He wondered his fault, why people forgot him. But then he understood. He hadn't changed. He simply stopped tolerating non-mutual friendships. That's the point. Releasing the idea of needing many friends also releases disappointments from unmet expectations. You no longer feel frustrated when someone doesn't check in, or let down when a friendship fades. Instead, you focus on life's most important person, yourself. This isn't isolation. It means choosing quality over quantity. Instead of numerous acquaintances, you prioritize truly significant relationships. Those providing joy, requiring no maintenance effort. Be it family, a lifelong friend, or a strong self-connection, these are the important bonds. So, if friendships ever brought more stress than joy, remember it's fine to withdraw. It's fine to choose simplicity over complexity, peace over frustration. Fulfillment doesn't demand many friends. You just need to release those who were never genuinely present. Fourth, your time becomes more precious. As you age, you realize time is your most valuable asset. In youth, it seemed abundant, more time for friends, social circles, worrying about who was in or out of your life. But by 70, your perspective shifts. Every hour, day, moment becomes precious. Understanding time's true worth makes you naturally more selective about its use. Friendships, though fulfilling, demand time and effort. Calls to make, visits to schedule, plans to keep. While some connections are worth maintaining, many are just habits carried from the past, relationships we keep out of obligation rather than genuine pleasure. At this life stage, you have the right to ask, is this how I want to spend my time? Does this friendship enhance my happiness, or feel like another chore? Consider Richard, in his early 80s. He once had an active social life, dinner parties, group outings, regular calls. But over time, he felt differently. Once enjoyable long conversations now felt draining. Social gatherings, formerly exciting, became obligations. One day, enduring another lunch of small talk and complaints, he realized he no longer wanted to spend his time this way. So he changed. He ceased habitually agreeing, instead declining invitations when he preferred not to socialize. Rather than hours on gossip or complaints, he devoted his time to genuinely joyful activities, reading, walking, learning new things, and simply enjoying his own tranquil company. Surprisingly, he felt no loneliness. In fact, he felt more fulfilled than ever, because he spent his time on what mattered to him, not on others' expectations. That's the core. When you release unnecessary friendships, you gain something far more valuable: time for yourself. Time for beloved activities. Time to enjoy life at your own rhythm. Time to focus on your own happiness instead of others' needs. So, if questioning whether to maintain certain friendships, ask yourself, is this the best use of my time? Because at this life stage, you owe your time to no one. You've earned the right to use it as you choose. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 to confirm your presence. And if you haven't subscribed, I recommend doing so and activating the bell to avoid missing videos. Your support aids us in continuing to create informative and inspiring content. Now, moving to point 5, true companionship originates internally. A major misconception about aging is that happiness requires a large friend circle. But the truth is, the most crucial companionship is with oneself. By 70, having spent decades learning, growing, and evolving, you know yourself better than anyone. With this self-awareness comes a profound realization: you are enough. For most of our lives, we're taught to seek external companionship, told that social interaction is key to happiness, that loneliness is to be feared. But there's a distinction between being alone and feeling lonely. Some of the happiest seniors embrace solitude not as isolation, but as a chance for self-discovery, reflection, and peace. Consider Eleanor, 76. She once believed she needed people to feel fulfilled. She constantly made plans, checked on friends, filled her days with activities. But after a while, she noticed something. Despite being socially active, she often felt drained, not energized. She realized many friendships were routine-based, lacking genuine connection. Worse, she constantly adjusted herself to fit conversations, meet social expectations, and avoid feeling excluded. Then one day she stopped. She decided to spend time with herself as she would with a dear friend, doing beloved activities, listening to her own thoughts, enjoying her own company. She took long walks without feeling obliged to call anyone. She visited cafes with a book instead of engaging in small talk. She spent quiet evenings reflecting on her life instead of worrying about maintaining obligatory friendships. To her surprise, she felt lighter, happier, and more peaceful than in years. Many don't realize this. True companionship isn't about how many people surround you. It's about your comfort with yourself. When you cease relying on others for entertainment, validation, or conversation, you gain a freedom few experience. You no longer need external distractions to occupy your time. You become your own source of joy, wisdom, and fulfillment. The beauty is, when you genuinely enjoy your own company, you effortlessly attract relationships. Instead of pursuing friendships from loneliness, you find the right people naturally enter your life, people who respect your space, understand your values, and bring peace instead of pressure. So if you've ever feared that releasing friendships might leave you alone, remember this: your best company is already within you. And embracing this reveals you were never truly alone. Point 6. Releasing obligations paves the way for a more fulfilling life. One of the most impactful actions after 70 is letting go. Release the pressure to maintain joyless friendships. Release the notion that your social circle defines your worth. Release the belief that being alone equates to loneliness. Because the instant you release these expectations, you open a path to a simpler, freer, and far more fulfilling existence. Many cling to friendships out of habit, even when they no longer add value. They attend unenjoyed gatherings, answer obligatory calls, and maintain appearances simply because it's customary. But what if none of that were necessary? What if you permitted yourself to release burdensome friendships, focusing instead on what genuinely brings happiness? Consider James, in his late 70s, who once thought social activity key to aging well. He tried to stay in touch with old friends, even when connections became distant or superficial. He filled days with social obligations, believing busyness meant fulfillment. But one day, he realized he wasn't enjoying it. Conversations felt repetitive. Gatherings felt routine. Deep down, he felt more exhausted than connected. So he chose. He stopped forcing meaningless friendships. Instead, He prioritized what truly mattered: more time outdoors, health focus, learning new things, and embracing freedom from others' expectations. And doing so, he discovered something remarkable. He felt lighter, happier, and more at peace than ever. That's the essence of letting go. It doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means creating room for true fulfillment. It means recognizing your happiness isn't tied to the number of people around you, but to how aligned you are with the life you genuinely desire to live. Embracing this mindset means you stop worrying about who's in your life and begin focusing on personal joy. You start appreciating small things, waking to quiet mornings, enjoying hobbies undistracted, feeling peaceful with your thoughts. You realize fulfillment comes not from dutifully maintaining friendships, but from living a life that feels natural and meaningful to you. So, if you've felt you should do more to maintain friendships, ask yourself, is this genuinely adding to my happiness, or am I clinging out of habit? Because once you permit yourself to let go, life becomes simpler, lighter, and more fulfilling than you ever anticipated. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 to acknowledge your presence. If you haven't subscribed, I recommend doing so and activating the bell to avoid missing videos. Your support helps us create quality content to inform and inspire. Final thoughts. As we conclude, reflect on our discussion. The concept that you don't need friends after 70 isn't about isolation, it's about freedom. It's about releasing needless obligations, choosing tranquility over stress, and embracing your desired life. By now, you've seen how stepping back from unserving friendships can actually bring more joy, more time, and more fulfillment than expected. What resonated most with you? Perhaps you've already begun releasing friendships that felt like work, not joy. Perhaps you've noticed how much you enjoy your own company when given the opportunity. Or maybe this video offered a new view on prioritizing yourself. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment sharing one thing learned today and how you plan to apply it. Your thoughts are important, please share them. Your comments provide us great motivation and encouragement. If this video was enjoyable and helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your continued support enables us to produce valuable content for your information and inspiration. Thank you for watching, and we anticipate seeing you in our next video.